Great. All right. So today's class is all about reading and being around with you, some of the guys, and working through the things. So it will touch few topics. One thing is what is love, and it looks like a confusion that you have with the love. Um, Now we have to really understand about how things work in life. Now, the main part of love is not the romantic part that is quite bloated in the communities and societies and in a worldly level. That's not the space of real love is. Now, the love is really love got nothing to do with romance. Love got to do with being constantly honest and true. And and it's not even fear and hate are opposition to love. Actually, has nothing to do with love. It's separation from love. So I'm going to pinpoint things that where your confusion can come into a place stage where you can rewire the understanding and the realization that this is not against you. So if you have a loving way of nurturing yourself and you wake up in the morning with such a gratitude to the world rather than not having that place of I don't have this, I'm constantly talking about what you're lacking, that means you're harsh on yourself. But when you wake up and you jump out and you achieve things that you want to achieve and you live the fullest life of that realization, then you have love. And a person has that place in themselves. They're okay with the others. They are okay with the world matters. They are okay with that love, with their health, with their finance, with their whatever it is. They're okay because they have a self-sufficient way of being very gentle with themselves. Now, now, when you are compassionate to yourself, when you have so much love that you take time to nurture yourself, when you have that with your partner, when you have that with your relationships, with your children, with the environment, with all that. So don't go to the dissect of the logic of I did this, therefore I'm not getting this back, because that's not love. In love, you're not doing anything. It is the way who you are. You are naturally generous. You are naturally a community. It is not who you pick and choose and who you want it in return. So saying that, find a place, just gently you can relax and you can allow yourself from wherever you came from just to surrender. Whether it's a breath, whether it's a movement, whether it's a realization, whatever it is for you, maybe it's for you the align the spine and softening the rib cage, and maybe for you letting go the emotion and the thought you entered into. Now I will move the camera towards Darren so that you can see if anything that you need to work on a postural level, on a movement level. Now take a deep breath in, shoulders roll back. Arms raised onto the crown, very gently holding onto the left wrist and very gently opening up the right rib and stretching and opening up that left part of the ribs. And also the left wrist, left palm facing up. And try to keep your left glute on the floor. Now, when you can breathe in very gently into that area that you are holding, and when you see that no longer that stretch is needed into that space so that you can observe, you can feel the frequency, vibration, the energy, very gently let go. Now take a deep breath in, arms raised onto the crown and holding on to the right wrist. And very gently opening up the right palm facing up Very gently stretching towards that opposite direction, which is your left now. Very gently opening up that space. Breath out, spread the wings wider and relax. Now very gently take a deep breath in and interlacing the fingers and palms facing into the front. Opening up now, just observe how you hold those elbows and drop the shoulders. So be very, very vigilant about how you respond to a instruction, respond to a breath, respond to a stretch. And just don't do the posture that you are in a place of a survival, because that space is not a space for creativity or healing. Now gently relax. Now take a deep breath in and twist the spine to the right side. Now very gently come into those spaces that I'm talking to you. You're releasing the mind, you're releasing the body from doing, and this is a space for you to open your heart. This is not a place that you're compromising anything. So very gently, you're bringing the breath and the movement into this mind and to the body. Back into the center and relax. Now change the leg formation. Take a deep breath in. And very gently opening up and twisting the spine to the opposite direction. So now this releasing the tension that I'm not good enough, I don't like, I have not achieved this. Now that cannot bring the change you want, because even the change comes as a person, you have not done any amount of work on realizing that your old self cannot meet any new level of understanding, new level of change. Back into the center. Now very gently shut the shoulders up and tilt the head back, massage the back of the skull and releasing any tension that created by frustrations, anger, impatience to yourself, impatient with others, impatient with the weather, impatient with this and that. Chin to the chest, breathe out, and collapse the spine into a seated cat. Now very gently pull the anus in on that. And very gently tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye. And push that tongue and strengthen that space of the tongue. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, tooth lock, collapse. Now you're coming into this space of this understanding. Take a deep breath in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye. Hold the breath on the space of all those higher chakras, energy levels, and you're very grateful for this energy. So forget about your identity and forget about your all these things that you are on a surface level. And come into the place of your releasing that as a death, that letting go of all those identifications. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Now neutral spine. Take a deep breath in, stretch the neck to the right side. Use the gravity of the palm, use the gravity in favor of you. So you're breathing in as you're breathing in and creating space for things to move, releasing the limitation, coming into that understanding, not just on a postural level, but on a psychosomatic way. So you're finding the path that you have lost. In finding the romance of love, you have lost the real love path within yourself. Back into the center onto the other side. So now you're releasing the ideas. It's almost like a debt. Now you're coming into not knowing the path so much, but embodying in the space back into the center. Take a deep breath in, shake your hands, release the tension and any static that has come up for you. Because remember, we are working with energies, vibrations, and frequencies. And you're constantly managing this level of energy when you are not realizing it, when you're out of the practice. You have to come into this place to understand the attention. Now left leg into the back, keep that right hip open. So if you're in the back of the mat, you're coming into the front of the mat, into the space of the pigeon pose, and work gently with the groin, with the areas that you need to work on, experience of what is that, and tend to feel more of the space that you're moving with. Shoulders roll back, opening up, elevate the heart, breathe out, drop the elbows, both those. When you start feeling more of not the idea and the thought of who you are and what you are and what you have done and what you're going to do, you're making the practice the new I will do later is in this very moment. When you're truly feeling yourself, not the idea of yourself. No matter what it is you're feeling, but you're truly feeling it. Palms facing up is a very different than just being selfish to the mind, being just selfish to the body, just being the idea of the body, idea of the mind, idea of the spirituality. What is this doing now? This is constantly bringing you into the present. Present. Present is the expression of generosity, expression of gratitude, expression of compassion, expression of aliveness. And that's the consciousness of that center. Out of this center, you can do whatever you wanted to do. No one is stopping you. But you have to see what you want to do. You're seeing it very clearly and you're only connecting into that, not what you were before or what you are lack of. This is the creative center. You're not in the polarities anymore. You're in the space of that sacred oneness. Take a deep breath in and coming back. Consciousness of the Christ, consciousness of the divinity, awakeness of the Buddha, whatever you want to call, it's not a matter. Just observe and align with the frequency and the vibration of this class because it's truly healing. Now very gently into a plank. Now basically, you are governing these vibrations and the frequencies of this wealth within yourself. Left knee on the floor. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Opening up. Take a good breath in. Roll the shoulder back. Right arm reaching into the back and come to the floor. Now very gently drop the knees. Push the hips into the front. Shoulders roll back, open up and give a good stretch to the throat. Push the hips into the front. Not so much rotating. And into the back. Now give a good rotation, wider rotation, wider rotation, and then stretch the spine back. Palms facing up. Palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Take a deep breath in and very gently coming into that space. Into a gentle cobra. Look into the right side. Onto the left side. Now that the violence and the anger and the frustration needs nothing to do with love. It is actually even not opposite. It is a separation back into the center. Onto the down face. Now left foot into the front, into the pigeon pose. So very gently now, vibrations and frequencies and energies. Also understand if you are not in this level of that energy, you're producing a cocktails of chemicals that are not necessarily outside world is injecting, but you are injecting within yourself because you have not come into the realization. Shoulders rolled back, open up and elevate the space of that heart, the feeling of that heart, the vibration of that heart, the space of that, and drop the elbows, walk those palms. So just see whether you have stopped loving yourself, whether you have stopped feeling those emotions under the name of I don't have time, under the name of I am on the survival, under the name of I am busy, under the name of I got to do other things. So remember, when this space is come, this is not a space for any creation, not creation for your ambition, but no creation for yourselves, no creations for healing, no creation for the energy flow. Take a deep breath in and very gently coming back. Shoulders roll back, coming into that space of the realization of the communication, cooperation with the communication, into a plank. Releasing the tension of that self-pity, self-involved. Right knee under the floor, left arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the back and touch the floor. Now drop the knees and completely breathe out to a cat. Breathing into a cow. Breathe out to the cat. Breathing into a cow. Breathe out to a cat. Now neutral spine and left arm reaching into the front, right leg stretching into the back. Now breathe out, bringing the knee and the elbow together. So left elbow meeting the right, stretch back, breathing in, breathe out, breathing in, breathe out. Hold the balance, engage the pelvic floor, breath in, breath out, relax the floor. Now to the other side, right arm stretch, left leg stretch, breath out, knee to the elbow. Breathing in, breath out, breathing in, breath out, breathing in, breath out, breathing in, breath out, and relax onto the floor. And do a good rotation to the hips, releasing any further tension. Wider rotation to the other side. Wider rotation to the other side. Push the hips into the front, into the back, knees wide apart, stretch the spine, and releasing. Now we are going to work on the thoughts and emotions and the memories. Now, when the memory is with a person that had a bad relationship or a hurt, the problem is you're not just aware of that person only, you every time there is something triggering or mimicking that pattern, you tend to think that this person is there to do the same thing what the other person did. So what happens is it's tarnish the energy, the vibration and frequency, because now your neurological circuitry is quite overprotective, almost to a place that you like feel like you're living with a tiger, or you're living where there is a hole underneath and you have to be constantly guarded. Now, this is okay for survival. This is okay in emergency. But imagine that your circuitry is constantly triggering the same energy. Are you one of these energy, whether it has happened with your ex or a co-worker or a family member, or basically, I don't know, maybe ill health, I don't know, maybe it's in the space of the finance. So it's really important the relationship we have with the circuitry. You need to come into a place that you're going to either live and find and then release it into a new circuitry, or relate to the person and find that space of forgiveness. But you can't carry these as a protection, because you're constantly, someone might be waking up in the morning and constantly being worried about the world, worried about the weather, worried about paying a bill. I'm not saying that they are not important. I'm just saying how we take the ownerships of these interactions, which cause us to spiral down. Our palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front, breathing in into up face. Shoulders roll back and open up that space of you're bringing that uniting awareness into that healthy relationship, honoring that space, honoring that frequency. Now breathe out to the down face. Now take a deep breath in, left leg up into the back, left knee to the left chest. Stretch back, left knee to the left elbow. Stretch back, left knee to the right elbow. Breathing in, stretch back, left foot into the front, arm stretch into the back, arms raise onto the ground. And opening up onto that Virabhadrasana. Now, when you come into the Virabhadrasana, you're releasing you're coming into the depth of the past, whether it's a betrayal, whether it's a person, whether it's a memory, whether it's experience that triggers it. And you're taking a mudra, constantly reminding you the event happened in the past, and you're paying attention that event is not happening now. And am I refreshing my energy so that I can embrace this energy? I'm learning the lesson from the limitation of a person, the event. Am I giving my power away, or am I holding that space very genuinely within myself? That's a mudra. Gently arch. Take a deep breath in, gently coming back. Elbow onto the knee. Right palm onto the sacrum, right arm reaching up, right reaching into the front, and coming into that frequency of your realization, the unchangeable realization. Right reaching into the front, touch the knee. Left arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the back and touch the floor. Drop the knee, holding onto the front knee. Push the hips and lunge a little bit and release anything that is remaining still on a way of that it has psychosomatically holding a part of the body, because emotions and events does not just come and stays in the memory. It's actually memory is also hold on to a tissue. And it is now that you can release them, not later. Now very gently palms onto the floor into a plank. Strong on the pelvic floor. Coming into a lower plank if you can come, or just drop the knees and come into a Bhujangasana, or coming into the up face. Breathe out. Now, are you a person that 30, 40 years ago something happens and that personality is in the past, but you're still carrying it? Right leg up into the back, right knee to the right chest, switch back, right knee to the right elbow, switch back, right knee to the left elbow, switch back, right foot into the front, arms straight into the back, arms raised onto the crown, leaning to Virabhadrasana. That's it. Now, you're a person, you're still in the path of the old identity. Are you still frustrated? Are you still resentful? Now, this is a very good time if you are that, genuinely embrace that energy flow so that you can release it, or coming into the realization you're taking a mudra on the Virabhadrasana. I no longer allow this to affect. Gentle arch. Take a deep breath in. Elbow onto the knee. That palm can face into the sacrum or stretch up to the ceiling. Now, if you are those people who thinks the right and wrong and they have done us the worst, ask yourself, is this very loving to me, holding this energy? Is this toxic for me? If this brings my frustration, well, then it is a time you can't hold on to a fire. You just have to drop it. It's simple as that. Or you can set fire to the whole body and the emotional nervous system. Because you're inhibiting. This is the time. Very gently, left arm reaching onto the floor. Touch the floor, right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Touch the floor, drop the back knee, hold on to the front knee, and do a couple of lunges just to release. Because for you, it might be on the back, you might be it's on the arm, it might be on the neck, it might be on the sinus. So please, today's class, when you're going through the barriers of these conditioning, respond to it rather than reacting to it. Create a space that it is no longer is your support system. People think I'm aware of that person, but compassionately or the limitation of that person. Now very gently palms onto the floor into a plank. Drop the knees and stretch the spine, knees wide apart. Now remember, thoughts and emotions and stories, that's on a language, But you have to see energy field that resonating from you, or they are from all the old stories. You are responsible for this energy field. Or do you really understand what I'm saying? Are you giving this energy to change? Are you giving space for this energy to change? Right now, where is your energy is? Are you giving to a person? Are you giving to an event? Are you want to be the right? Are you wanted to be the person who didn't have the words to explain or want something totally? This electromagnetic field, they are now and they are creating energy. So you can use this magnetic field, coherence with your heart, start healing. And this is why I say when you ask for healings and all that, healing is so much of a level that you have to come into this frequency, even for the other person to help you. By doing that, if your energy is leaking somewhere, totally in a high volume way, now you can tone it down and restore the energy. Because this is what happens when you live by the identity, you live by the past, you live by the memory of a person, an event, and frustration. You are releasing so much of your vital energy. Of course, your body is going to deplete. Of course, your cells are going to deplete. I'm not just talking about you as a person. This is also for me. I'm also going through these things. But now take the event that is most troubling you and come into the realization and see whether you're giving the same emotion to it. Because emotion is energy. If you're no longer, then you have worked on that. And if it doesn't affect, palms facing down, very gently coming onto the floor, crawling, chest onto the floor, breathing in into our face, breathe out towards the down face. Now take a deep breath in, lift up onto the toes, push down to the heels, open up that feet, open up that palms, 6 more times, lifting up, releasing. In this way, you're allowing those tensions opening up, whether it's a forgiveness, whether it's a peace, whether it's agreeing, or whether it's aligning with the path to be gently release. Now lifting up onto the toes. Now very gently pushing down to the heels. Now walk the palms into the back and keep your head down. Bend the knees, holding onto the opposite elbows. Release that tension on the back of the neck. You may have resentment there. You may have some anger still there. But they are now just mimicking the old pathways. They are not really present as such as where you gave all the volume into it. But don't think that it is going to happen to you again. Bend the knees and sit deeper now. Now, if you want to sit on a block, this is a great, so this can release the tension of the digestion that was holding that traumatic event, whatever it is. This is the time. So now this goes even if you have a panic attack or anxiety attack. It's not that you're suffering from that panic attack again, but you're worried about that panic attack is going to happen. As you see, so train that neural path, whether it's a breathing that you're going to use or a verse that you're going to laugh about that circumstances or whatever it is, but without triggering that energy. Thinking that it's constantly a state of worse. is a constant state of negativity. Now, whatever the life is, just gently have that gratitude and release on the outbreath that resentment that you're not enough. Because constantly you're judging yourself is making you unhappy, making you smaller, making you less growing. The person constantly complaining about these events are constantly putting this energy on themselves. Blaming is only making an excuse for you to feel sorry about yourself, unhappy about yourself. Curse is put into you when you are constantly doing this by yourself. There's nobody doing that other than yourself. So when you come into this realization, you take a couple of more minutes and very gently you can sit down on the floor and stretch the legs into the front. Shake the legs and release the tension. Shake the arms and release the tension. Now, this is also a great way to bend your knees and walk your bum into the front and into the back. Use the arms, use the body very gently. You can take a deep breath in very gently. That's how you can walk the bum into the front like that. No, like this. Yeah. So what it does is pull the bum muscle out very gently, and then you go backwards. You're engaging the pelvic floor. So no longer you're taking the same way of the walk, same way of the things. You're using this whole solar system to work with gently creating that sincere connection into it. Now, great. Once you have done that, bring the knees to the chest and completely breathe out. Breathing in, the arms rest onto the crown and stretch the legs. Engage the pelvic floor. Gaze from the toes. See whether there's resentment or anything coming. Knees to the chest, breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. See what mind is saying and bring the mind into the present stage. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in and breathe out. Now relax, twist the spine to the right. Now you're training the circuitry of the energy field. Back into the center. Change the leg formation onto the other side. Back into the center. Now knees to the chest and rock the spine into the front and into the back. And very gently, so coming to the front of the mat because you're going to lower your body totally onto the floor. What I want is to energize and bring that, lowering that energy frequency that has gone out of you and reconditioning the body to a new space, new mind, new realization. And surrender to that space. Now, very gently, roll back onto the floor. Right. Now, bring the knees to the chest. Completely breathe out. Forehead onto the knee. Now, you may finding hard to breathe, but then loosening up. You may finding hard for the neck, so engage the pelvic floor. Now, very gently, feet close with the buttocks. Now, tuck the tailbone under, very gently waking up the spine one vertebra at a time. Now, there's so much of this energy now liberating and coming into you, moving into the space of the coherence of the heart. And for the first time, you feel love for yourself. Now take a deep breath in, breath out, coming down. Very gently. Engage the pelvic floor. Even you do one, do it correct because you're respecting yourself. You're claiming your energy back. Tuck the tailbone under, peeling off the spine. So building back energy frequency, the energy field. Something for the first time you're feeling right. Breathe out, then coming down. Pubic bone pulled in. Now push the pubic bone into the navel like you're tilting a marble back to the navel. Now push the pubic bone away. You're pushing it away from the navel. Push it back just to get this area, because this area has a lot of stagnation energy. Now imaginary marble on the navel, and you're rotating the marble onto the right side on a circular motion. So when gently you push it onto the pubic bone, push it onto the side of the right hip, pull back onto the navel, onto the left hip, onto the pubic bone. 3 times to the right circles, 3 times to the left. Take your time. It's a very gentle movement. Even you might not see it as I'm doing it because it's a very gentle tilt. Knees to the chest. Completely breathe out, forehead onto the knee. Now very gently lock onto the toes and your head goes back and relax, and knees slightly bend and feet wide apart, or feet slightly bent and knees are coming under the armpit. Whatever is easy for you. We just need to psychosomatically release these bondages that we have block our energy fields, and we need to unify them. That's great. Now, sole of the feet together, knees wide apart, under the ankles, locking onto the toes. So you could see it. Now, very gently take a deep breath in, breathe out, forehead coming towards that lock, or under the lock, whatever it is easy for you. And now very gently release knees to the chest, and drop the knees onto the right side, and head turning on the opposite direction. You can stretch the arms. By doing this and coming into this realization, you're changing the chemicals in the body. Most of the time, after a practice of yoga or meditation, oxytocin levels are quite being released in the pituitary gland. And this is the space of that self-love, creating this space. Now very gently coming back into the center. I'm dropping the knees onto the other side. Back into the center. Now knees to the chest and rock the spine and coming onto a seated posture. Now very gently twisting the spine to the right side. Back into the center, onto the other side. Back into the center. Now I just want you to have gratitude for this very moment. Because in this very moment that, as we say, the oxytocin signals the nitric oxide, and the nitric oxide signals another chemical reaction, which is called endothelial, and it's derived from relaxing. So make use of these energies and this chemical, because when you allow this space, the expansion in your arteries and lungs are huge. It's flooding, literally open up all that blood levels. So that is the science, but this is the part of thousands and thousands of years ago. This is been explained through the chakras and energies. So I want you to just be in that space. The mind that is awakened. Now, this space is a totally different level of realization. Now, when this level of elevation and realization happen, and it's that amount of oxytocin, when it comes into the, I'm using the science to tell you something. It do not hold grudges. It cannot hold grudges. It cannot be mean. It cannot be closed. That is what the yogi says. I am so happy for no good reason. Now you are addicted to this if you come into the practice, because you're addicted to that space of that energy. Now you have a choice whether I'm going to compromise this energy with everyday event, or I will become the custodian of this energy. Does this make sense? So now I don't want to criticize anything. I don't want to say the negativity of things, because you know that you're the ones who is responsible for the creation of this energy. You don't want to lose this. You want to enhance it. That's why certain trees, certain plants, certain animals elevate towards you, because they feel this energy. They want to hang around you. They want to come and have a chat with you, because they can relate to this. Now, to this phenomena, bring whatever the attractions that you want to have in life and create bonds within this place, because these bonds are lifetime bonds. Whether it's a person that you trust as your healer, as your doctor, as your partner, as your friend, as your colleague, not because of anything what they have superficially, but your realization loves the attention and the connection of this level of the audience in these energies. I have given the responsibility back to you. Now the world is not making you happy. World is not making you unhappy. The person is not doing it to you. Your partner is not doing to you. The weather is not going to do. The traffic, the government, nothing. The world got nothing to do. Who is making you happy? You are making yourself. Now, when you come into this realization and vibration, you're not relying on anybody, anything. You just become the carrier of this energy, and you spark everything that on your way. Whether it's sparking the energy field of the money, relationships, health, caring, giving, because you have come to the present of that. You no longer even ask You just give for the sake of giving. You love for the sake of loving. When you come into this realization, arms very gently raised back to the ground, palms onto the Namaskar position. And let us vibrate the energy of this energy. It has a sound through the Omkara. Take a deep breath in, 3 ohms. Breathing in. Breathing in. Arms very gently raise back to the ground. The awaken was that happen beyond the reality, truth of consciousness. Coming into the crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, navel. Arms raising back into the crown without not worrying about anything, and to be peace. And that peace is called Shanti. This is my blessing to you all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Namaste to you all. So you see, there is nothing to talk about. You just took responsibility. Now, some of you have asked me about my manifestations haven't come yet. But you have to understand the universe is manifesting what you want or the beyond your home. But you cannot manifest something from your old self because the frequency of your vibration has to lift up into that space of the manifestation that you're manifesting. Your old self cannot go into that space. So whether you are manifesting a way of life or whatever, I'm not going to go into details of what you have written to me. It's just ask yourself every day, have I changed as a person? Have I grown as a person? Because the custodian of this manifestation is a different frequency and a vibration, whatever it is. Big hugs and love to you all. I hope this class has helped you some way to share it with someone who needs the class more or talk about it. So the light is spread. My love to you, Sylvia. My love to you, Liz. My love to you, Maria and Sage. My love to you, Rebecca Des, and your beautiful son. And to Dr. Michelle, thank you for all. Big love. Thank you.